So if you do enjoy the story, please come back in 2011, because I'll be here. Before I begin, I want to talk a little bit about disclaimers. I want to assure you that no one changes the name to protect the innocent. We're not worried about the innocent, they're nice. We're worried about the guilty. And with that in mind, I want to tell you about the time when I was 16 that I broke into the Pentagon computers and was coerced into getting into Equitable Savings Bank to withdraw a little bit of extra money. I went to high school at John F. Kennedy in Silver Spring, and my best friend was named Kevin. Now, Kevin was one of the original computer nerds. Now, when I went to high school, a computer nerd was someone who could perform a couple of things in BASIC, like random number generation. It wasn't particularly useful stuff. This was before Windows. Might have even been before DOS, I'm not totally sure. But this was a long time ago. Now, every lunch we would get together and we would talk, and Kevin would do things on the computer. So there's this one time when he's going around and he's playing on the computer, and this guy named Alan comes by and he says, "Hey, what you doing?" We're sitting on the computer 2.5 feet away from the school librarian. And I'm in a very teenagery mood. So I look over to him and I say, "We're trying to break into the Pentagon computers." And he says, "Really?" And I exchange a look with Kevin. And Kevin exchanged a look with me. And I'm like, "Yeah." And soon, I've been in jail about 12 times. I have multiple bank accounts. Now, the reason I have multiple bank accounts, I explain, is because if you have a bank account with more than $1 million in it, someone might get suspicious. But it's like the 99-cent rule, or when you're at gas and it's 0.9 cents. If it's $999,000, no one notices. So as long as so you have to have multiple bank accounts. And we're going through this with Al, and he's believing everything. So much so that he says, "I want in on this. I want to stick my neck out. Can you break into a bank with me so I can get some money? I want to be rich too." And we're like, "Oh, I don't know. You know that new security guard, the one who's well-dressed? That's actually an FBI guy here to look after us. Make sure, For 3 weeks, every day, Alan is begging us to break into a bank for him. And almost every morning, Kevin and I, on the bus together, are like, "We gotta let him off the hook. We gotta end this because this is silly, it's stupid." And then every afternoon at lunch, we're like, "This is too fun. We can't let this guy off the hook." I'm sure each of you have experienced this, hopefully on the side of the jokester, but at any rate, comes a day where we decide it needs to end. So we tell him the next day at lunch, we are going to break into Equitable Savings Bank so he can make a little money. So we can, we'll prove to him that we're on the up and up. So 2.5 feet away from the school librarian, on a 1980s computer with green flashing screen, no modem, and a library full of people who are snickering even as we sit down. We begin a little program, and Alan comes in, and he's almost shaking, and he sits down with us and says, "Are we really going to do it? Are we really?" We said, "Yes, but you have to be quiet so no one notices what we're doing," because the librarian's laughing, which irked me to no end. So we typed in our first sequence of things, and we said, "We've already planned this out. and we type in this random code, which according to Kevin's program, is going to produce sans logo, sans any beautiful imagery or homepage, in green flashing letters, "Welcome to Equitable Savings Bank." He is beside himself. And we're like, calm down. We say, okay, that's the easy part. We got to the bank. Now, we have to get beyond the codes. We didn't know about, security walls or firewalls or anything. And we never hacked anything. We were a bunch of goody-goodies, to be honest. We said, okay, if we type the right things, we can get into the account system. And so we say, okay, what do we type? And we type something. No response. What about, Kevin comes, he's a genius, Kevin, I told you this. Kevin's like, what if we type in fool's gold? Now, we wanted to give him a little hint, just because we were feeling bad for him. So fool's gold didn't work. And we said, well, fool's gold's a little obvious, but what is fool's gold? Iron pyrite, try that. Type in iron pyrite, the next set of pre-coded messages comes across. Welcome to accounts. What would you like to do? And we say, okay, we're set. We put in an amount. $999,999. And we're not feeling greedy, 95 cents. So the last thing is you have to put in the president's code. So we're thinking, we come up with a code, we type it in, and in green flashing letters, all of a sudden the computer shouts out, "Halt! You have been caught. The police are coming. Do not move." Alan jumps up! He sprints out of the library. It's not the end of the story. The next day, I see Alan, and he sees us, and he says to us, "Man, I know what you did, and it's not nice." And we're like, "Yeah, we're sorry. We were just, It's like, "Yeah, that wasn't real. Tomorrow, I want you to do it for real." And believe it or not, that's not the end of the story. The end of the story is this. I ran into someone who knew Alan 10 years later, and he is a computer programmer. I take credit for this. And apparently, he's very highly paid and very good at this.